Welcome back, everybody. This is 3KO Games, and the Fated Summon portal finally refreshed. And you probably saw the leaked list of heroes, and I wanted to wait until it became official today to talk about this at all, hoping that they would change someone. Anyone? Please? No. It's exactly who was leaked. It's kind of a disappointing summon portal. I feel like the last couple Fated had at least one or two that I was like, okay, if I pull enough heroes, this one will be useful to have. But there's a lot of garbage in this one. It's not totally garbage. I think depending upon your roster, everybody has a hole that you might find somebody useful for. So let's talk quick. First row, really nobody. They're not giving you any costumes. So, unless you already have, say, costume or double costume Leonidas or Demetia, there's nothing special about this first row. If you already have the costume for Demetia or Leonidas, yeah, nice. Grab a second one of those. That sounds just fine. But you're also going to probably pull those just from random summons anytime anyway. Okay. Second row is all heroes of the month, and they just did these old hero of the month buffs. But none of these have their costumes featured. Or I don't know that any of these have costumes. And even then, to pull now because of a possible costume buff, you're still going to have to pull the costume. So that's basically another hero that you have to pull. I think their specials are interesting. Their stats are dated, but the specials could be usable. Let's go over it quickly. So, Anzo is one of those fire hitters that also heals. Okay, 250 damage to all enemies, and heals with 35 or 30% of total, and a little element link that's not so important. Okay, Morgan Le Fay is interesting. Those stats aren't great, but the drain 900 HP over 4 turns is not bad, especially at fast speed. It could be constantly happening, and she's defending herself against fire. Not bad. Frida, if I was going to take one from this row, of course it depends on what you've got, but Frida with the elemental defense down, there are not that many elemental defense downs in ice, in blue, and here it is, negative 54% defense. Plus dispels buffs. Two really useful things. Bayong, if you watched a few videos ago when they did the costume Heroes of the Month buffs, I talked about Bayong because he got a 50% damage to the target increase, so it's now 370. And I did talk about, it could be interesting to use him possibly as a counter to Aramis, because that target gets negative 75% accuracy, decrease in healing, and then if you're bringing a strong holy team, all the holy allies get plus 30% defense against special skills. Interesting, I actually took him with no emblems, no limit break, on a couple raids against a couple Aramis teams, and he just got wiped out every time. So I don't know if I'm that interested enough to re-emblem him all the way up and see if he can last. Maybe not. Okay. Kiona does have an added attack. Plus 45% attack, plus more every time you're hit. So depending upon who you have on your Titan team, could be an option. Okay. Third row. Oh, I went to Morgan Le Fay, didn't I? And not Margaret. Haha. Margaret was like the second green that I ever got, 5-star. So I have Margaret leveled up and still use her once in a while. Not a bad dodger. The stats aren't great, but dodge is always useful. Okay, now third row, we have some event heroes. Red Hood is minions, and those minions add health. That's what that does. Morgan Le Fay, I talked about her, out of order. Rumpelstiltskin, you get 3 possible status or special skills: dealing damage, recovering health, or just doing defense down, attack up. Not so, not so interesting. And I'd like to rather have a sure thing. Now his costume, one of those is like takes 75% of your total HP and reduces it. That's kind of devastating, one of those options on the costume. But the original card, no. Guardian Owl, no thanks. Very slow. It's hoping that the rest of your team is dead. And then Guardian Owl will hit stronger and regenerate HP and get extra defense. But I'd rather just take have a team where everybody lives. That's that. Sargasso, I just don't even know what he does. Decrease in healing. Plus a little damage. Okay. Final row has some interesting stuff. Baldur is an interesting hero. Again, stats aren't great anymore. Damage to a random enemy, but this big boost of health. And then all allies resist mana reduction. And then also another 165% damage to a random enemy for every turn, as long as they still have boosted health. I remember when this guy first came out, and I just kept getting wiped out. I'm like, what's even happening here? He can be frustrating. Just the stats are low. Frigg, if you do not have a good defense down in green, she can still be worth it. She used to be the best hero in the game. Stats and everything, and even specials are more special these days. But worth a look. Fenrir hits and heals himself. That's what he does. It's a good hit on slightly outdated stats. Norns, if you are into Mythic Titan and don't have Norns, could be a good addition. Allows you to bring another color and hit strong against that target. Yeah? And then Salmon Loki, let's just not talk about Salmon Loki. So that's that. I actually am making this video after I already did my goblin summons. Shoot, I should have done this first so I had refreshed. Although, honestly, there are not that many heroes that I really want. Who do I want? Frida. Always could use another buff dispeller. And I still don't have an elemental defense down in ice, except for Nordri. Still bringing Nordri on all the Titans, so it'll be nice to level Frida up. I've got quite a few blues that I'd like to level up, but eventually level Frida up and use her on Titans. So I'm definitely going to pull Frida. I still only have Buddy the elf, for my defense down in green. And again, as a Titan Force or whatever, Frigg would come in really handy as another defense down. We'll definitely get Frigg at some point. And if I fill up the Fated Summons enough between now and whenever it changes, I would definitely consider Norns. So I don't know. What do you think? Who would you consider? Some of these other specials are at least interesting, if the stats are a little outdated. Yeah. Let me know in your comments. Please feel free to like, subscribe, all that stuff. And now, I'm going with Frida. Going to get some elemental defense down. That's not a 3-star. Finally. So, yay. My choice for the first Fated Summon. Thank you so much for checking out the channel, and I will see you next time.